All right, team. Welcome back to the Man Talk Show. Maybe, like some of the men that are out there, you have been experiencing a lack of direction, a lack of ambition, a lack of motivation. Maybe you felt disconnected from a kind of masculine energy or masculine core inside of you, a kind of fire that can push you and propel you towards your goals, your aims, your desires. Maybe you felt disconnected from that despite all of your best intentions. Today, we're going to be talking about what blocks that masculine energy and core inside of you and how to reconnect to it in a way that's not just about cold showers and lifting heavy weights. Those things can be very, very helpful. Absolutely. I do those things. I love to lift heavy. I love to go in the cold plunge and sauna and do breathwork. All of those things are very helpful. And sometimes there are some psychological pieces that you need to understand in order to press forward. So I'm going to talk to you about the modern trap. The modern man trap is the kind of nice guy culture. And this nice guy culture can be a deterrent towards your inner strength. It can harm a connection towards your inner strength. You have this kind of well-intentioned push for you as a man to be highly empathetic. And this can inadvertently lead to a kind of passive behavior in your life, a kind of inability to assert healthy boundaries, that you start to over-index being nice, being kind, being overly compassionate, being overly accommodating. And it's not even that you're a people pleaser. Maybe you sort of fall into that category, but you just start to over-index a relentless onslaught of compassion. And I think some of you have probably experienced this where you get compassion fatigue, you get empathy fatigue, where you're just like, I'm doing everything for everybody else around me. I'm not doing those things for myself. So nice guy culture can sort of infringe on your inner strength by constantly telling you, be more open, be more vulnerable, be more compassionate, be more empathetic. And it's not to say that being kind isn't helpful. It's not just saying that being kind when you're walking down the street and seeing somebody who's suffering or struggling or being mistreated isn't something that you should inject yourself into. It's simply the paradox that when you avoid conflict at all costs, which is what nice guys do. It's what you as a people pleaser do. It's what you do when you are seeking external validation. You delay and avoid conflict. This delay, this avoidance of conflict, of hardship, of things that are going to be robustly challenging and push you to an edge, that actually creates more internal tension. It collapses that fire, right? You can think about your masculine energy as a kind of fire inside of you. And sometimes you have to stoke the flames, and sometimes you have to dial it back a little bit because it can get too hot and you can get a little spicy and, a little bit too aggressive. But what nice guy culture has done for a lot of men is it has doused the flames to such a degree that you don't even feel that heat or that fire inside of you. And this comes as a result of constantly putting other people's needs in front of your own without reciprocity, without getting it back. And this really drains your energetic reserves because you're constantly outputting, taking care of others, and not having that reciprocated back. The other piece is this kind of paradox around procrastination. So the procrastination paradox. And the procrastination paradox is really about delaying. The delay of action creates a diminishing impact internally, right? So the more that you push things off, the more that you procrastinate, the more internal strife, hardship, depression, angst, anger, confusion that you're going to feel and experience, the less direction, the less motivation, the less ambition that you'll experience. So when you start to move into this place of over-planning, overthinking, without taking action, these are all subtle forms of a kind of self-sabotage that will stifle your progress. And this masculine core and energy inside of you is reinforced through action. It's reinforced through taking action. Now, not action that's just blind, not action that is meaningless, but action that has a target, right? If you're just shooting bows or shooting a bow and arrow and shooting arrows up into the sky and at random places, that there's no real aim to that. There's no direction to that. Masculine core is about pointing towards a target, aiming at a target, and then developing the skill and the willingness to continue to draw the bow, fire the arrow, hit the target, and practice that time and time again until you get closer and closer to the bullseye. So one of the pieces here around this procrastination paradox, which, by the way, procrastination, it's just a protection mechanism. It's your brain and your body attempting to protect you from some type of failure or embarrassment or some type of unwanted outcome. Sometimes that perceived unwanted outcome is success. It actually is achieving, because you are so used to non-achieving. You're so used to not actually reaching your goal or having the ambition or having the achieving the result. And so sometimes in the beginning, what you actually need to do, and this is what I had to do in the very beginning, I did not have motivation. I did not have ambition. I did not have any of the perceived skills to actually achieve success. And so for me, it was really about small daily repetitions that I would build on. And this is what I've called reclaiming your center, right? Taking some practical steps for aligning yourself energetically towards a target, towards an outcome, towards an aim. So implement simple daily practices that are going to reinforce this self-reliance internally, that you can start to build this unshakable knowing that you will follow through with what you want to do. And that can be a practice, right? That can be you committing to, I'm going to journal every single day. I'm going to meditate every single day. I am going to focus in on doing this one thing every single day, and then I'm going to expand it. Focus on one thing every day and expand it. This is part of the masculine principle. We like to build, we like to create, we like to give structure. That's part of the masculine fire. And that momentum that you start to get, don't worry about motivation. Don't aim for motivation. Aim for momentum, right? Kill off the desire and the want to have all the motivation in the world. I got caught in that trap for years. I'm not motivated. How do I get motivated? That's this circular trap that feels so challenging to get out of. But when you stop focusing on motivation and you start focusing on building momentum, the fire of that masculine energy can start to grow, right? So choose something that you can do every single day. It might be breath work, it might be meditation, it might be journaling, it might be working out, it might be going for a run. Whatever it is for you, focus on that and then start to expand it. 5 minutes of meditation every single day, and then 8 minutes, and then 10 minutes, and then 15 minutes, and just start to expand yourself from there, right? 5 minutes of journaling, 10 minutes of journaling, 15 minutes, and you start to expand out. So ride the momentum. That is one of the core functions of the masculine. The masculine can sort of feed off of this momentum. The more it gets back this data set that things are working, that things are moving, that there's a continuity and a commitment happening, the more that it can grow and expand. So you want to focus in on momentum. And there was a period of time in my life, honestly, for example, where I just started to journal every single day. And it was stream of consciousness. I wasn't writing about anything specific. It was just whatever came into my head. And I sat down and I would write and I would write and I would write. And I started at 5 minutes and I incrementally moved it up 10 minutes and then 15 minutes. And then eventually I was writing sometimes for an hour a day. But that momentum just reinforced such confidence internally. And it reinforced a kind of competency and capability inside of me that I didn't think I had before. So most of you are sabotaging your own masculine energy, your own masculine core, because you're wanting motivation. You're chasing after motivation. And what is really required is this move back to momentum. What do you need to do today and tomorrow to create momentum? So the path forward is sustaining this momentum, letting it be something that actually fuels you from the inside, committing to a daily habit, committing to a daily routine, not outsourcing your validation, starting to insource that validation, and not allowing yourself to fall into this empathy trap. I think sometimes we as men oscillate back and forth between super harsh, right? I'm going to beat the living crap out of myself for not doing this, for not following through. And then I'm going to completely let myself off the hook because it's okay, because I was tired or whatever. So you have to move into the middle ground. Find the middle path between beating the living crap out of yourself, not working, and then letting yourself off the hook entirely, also not working. There's a middle ground in there where you can say, okay, I didn't follow through with this today. That's not okay. I'm going to go do it right now. That was the practice that I started to embody. I didn't do this morning. I just remembered it. I'm going to make myself sit down and do this right now. I'm going to sit down and do the journaling. I'm going to send that email. I'm going to make that phone call, right? So in the moment, reestablishing it as soon as you remember. I'm going to sit down and meditate right now. So comment below, share your thoughts. Thank you so much for diving in today. And until next week, Connor Beaton signing off.